Okay. Okay. So a very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all participants joining us today for the webinar talk series from various regions. I welcome you all on behalf of the CAFI Network Secretariat. My name is Suchitra Upare, and I'm the coordinator for the global network for capacity building to increase access of small-scale fisheries to financial services, which, as I said, is also called the CAFI-SSF network. The topic of today's discussion is financing innovation for sustainable fisheries with the private sector. This event is today jointly organized by the CAFI-SSF network in association with the Asia Pacific Rural and Agriculture Credit Association, that is APRICA, and the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations. APRICA is also the nodal regional partner of the CAFI-SSF network for the Asia Pacific region. And FAO currently supports the network's initiatives and activities. For all those participants who are not much aware about the CAFI-SSF network, the network's objective is primarily to increase the global attention and awareness about the financial needs of small-scale fisheries or small-scale fishers and fish farmers. The network's vision is to increase the availability and access of microfinance, credit, and insurance services for small-scale fishers and small-scale aquaculture producers, with the ultimate goal to contribute to a more resilient fisheries sector and improve the livelihoods in fishing and aquaculture communities. The network's mission is to act as a platform where members promote, develop, and facilitate capacity building, knowledge exchange, advocacy, and awareness, share experiences, good practices, and provide support and advice to stakeholders to increase access of adequate financial services for the small-scale fishers and small-scale aquaculture producers. The network's aim is also the network aims to directly contribute to few of the international principles and guidelines. First one is the FAO's Code of Conduct for Responsible Fisheries, which is especially the implementation of its Article 8 on fishing operations. The second one is the voluntary guidelines for securing sustainable small-scale fisheries in the context of food security and poverty eradication, which is also commonly called as the SSF guidelines. The third one is the FAO Africa guidelines for increasing access of small-scale fishers to credit and insurance services in Asia. The fourth one are the other international principles, such as the principles for investment in sustainable wild-caught fisheries, the principle of sustainable finance, and the principle for responsible investment in agriculture and the food systems. Additionally, the CAFI-SSF network further contributes to achieving the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, particularly the Sustainable Development Goal, the SDG 14, Target 14B, which provides access for small-scale artisanal fisheries to marine resources and markets. The CAFI-SSF network has organized this webinar to discuss the preliminary project findings of the baseline survey, training tool sets, and delivery of a financial product for liquidity support for fisheries entrepreneurship projects in Thailand targeted for entrepreneurship development in the fisheries subsector with special reference to the small-scale fishers and to address the liquidity needs. A brief presentation will also be made by the Agriculture Credit Policy Council on their experiences of implementing a project to enhance capacity of SSF in the Philippines and on the launching of National Network of the Philippines for SSF, that is the PhilNet SSF that is titled. So I will move on to the program agenda for today, which is there. So to give a brief background of the project, I would like to introduce Dr. Thomas Gietzen, who has joined us today, and I would like to introduce you all to him. and he would be giving us the brief background about the project of this as of now. Thomas has a PhD from the St. Gallen University of Switzerland with a focus on microfinance and banking in developing countries. He has several years of experience in the development finance in various countries. Thomas has also worked on the for the French Development Bank and is currently working as the portfolio manager for the German Development Bank, which is a KfW, in the Middle East. And he's part-time consulting with FAO on how to improve financial service provisions to the SSF. So, Dr. Thomas, it's over to you.
Good morning, Suchitra. Can I get a quick thumbs up that you can hear me?
Yes.
All right, I see some thumbs. Very good. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Suchitra, or good afternoon, wherever you are. For me, it's a rather good early morning. Thank you, Suchitra, for your kind introduction. And before I start, I would really like to take a moment to thank you as the CAFI-SSF network coordinator for organizing today's event. I know it seems like a small thing to organize, but we wouldn't believe how much work actually goes into organizing such events, even if they're online. So thanks a lot to you. I know you've put a lot of effort and energy into it, and you keep putting a lot of effort into making the network known and promoting the network activities worldwide. So that's very good. Also, Dr. Prasun, a very big thank you to you for providing a lot of input into the project that we are going to be talking about today, but also to the webinar today. Without your engagement, we couldn't have had such events as we are doing today. I will be brief in my intervention. I will give you a very quick overview over the project activities in Thailand, so that you might have a bit of a better background that will help you to understand what we're talking about in the next 2 hours. So basically, the project in Thailand was launched in 2021, and the project was launched between APRACA and FAO, as we have already heard, in partnership with BAAC. And the project, and Suchitra, you have outlined that very nicely, is a continuation of many activities of FAO and its partners in the region. In particular, and I want to highlight that again, the CAFI-SSF guidelines for microfinance that were launched in Thailand actually in 2019. So really, I think FAO has been on this topic for many years now, and the partners have been on this topic for many years now. So it's not just a one-shot kind of project, but it's really a continuation of previous activities. So what have we actually tried to do in Thailand, this project in 2021? The main objective of the project, as Suchitra has already said, is basically to try and understand how can we improve access to financial services for small-scale fishers in Thailand, but then also a bit further in the region. Right? That's ultimately what we want to do. We want to support small-scale fishers in the region and trying to get the financial services that they actually need in order to grow their business in a sustainable manner. So the project activities in Thailand, we can say they are fourfold. First thing we have done, the partners have done a pretty thorough stakeholder analysis. So first of all, try and look at, who is really out there, who can contribute, who is important to the sector of financial service provision to small-scale fishers. Based on that, the partners together with FAO have done a survey, which we are going to hear about today. And the idea of the survey was really to understand, okay, what are the needs and where do we actually stand in terms of financial service provision to small-scale fishers? And the survey had to be done for the most part online, unfortunately, because of the COVID situation. We would have loved to be in the field a little bit more. But even online, I think some pretty interesting results emerged from the survey. And the survey did not only ask small-scale fishers, but it also asked financial service providers and other stakeholders. So we tried to get a more holistic picture on what's actually going on in the sector. Based on the survey result, the partners BAAC, APRACA developed training material that is meant to build capacity of financial service providers, BAAC staff, but also beyond that, with regards to how can a financial service provider reach small-scale fishers? What is the important elements of that? And then fourthly, I think a very important aspect of the project is to try and set up a platform or a modality with which people can use to exchange about this topic. And this is also, this webinar today is very much part of this activity. So it's really about also trying to set up a network and a platform for stakeholders to engage and to share best practices, because ultimately I think that's really an important aspect of the project, is to identify best practices and then to share them with a wider audience so that people can profit from that. And I think that's also something I invite everybody here in the meeting today. This is not a one-way show. I think it's really about, if you have best practices that you want to share, then I think you're very much invited to do so. And I think that's very much the spirit of the project. It's not FAO and Upare and BAAC telling people how things are done. It's really also to try and understand what's the situation on the ground. So it's also a learning experience. You might be interested to know, and with that I come to the end of my intervention, that we have launched in 2021 very similar activities in Kenya. So basically there's a sister project that is trying to do the same thing in Kenya. So it's a worldwide effort that you are part of. So I think that is really great, and also gives us a chance to compare here and there between the different regions, because Asian region is of course different in terms of what small-scale fishers need than the Africa region, but sometimes maybe also not, right? Sometimes maybe it's also the same problems and the same worries that people have on the ground in both regions. I'm also very happy to say that we are very likely going to continue the activities in 2022. So this is by no means the end to everything. This is hopefully merely a start. So in 2022, training activities, but also research activities on the ground are going to continue. And then I think hopefully in 2022 also, the network and platform for engaging will be strengthened. I'm also very happy we have guests from the Philippines here. We had a project with also similar activities in the Philippines, and we're also going to hear about that. So it's really a great group we have together. Suchitra, once again, thank you for that. This is a bit of background on the project, and greetings from FAO to everybody. Looking forward to the meeting today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Thomas, for giving us a brief background about the project, and especially mentioning that this is just the beginning. And it is not, I mean, we are also keen to know other success stories or other kind of projects or any initiatives which are happening. So we'll be happy to also hear from participants and different organizations. So let's look at this as the beginning, because there's a lot of groundwork, research that is going to go further that we're going to do in the coming years. And especially in the next year, we are just beginning this journey in a way. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you once again. Okay. So now I would like to move to our next speaker, who does not need an introduction, but I would like to give a brief description and his eminent work that he has been doing in this field. So it's Dr. Prasun Kumar Das. Dr. Prasun holds a doctoral degree in agricultural sciences, specializing in agronomy, and an MBA with specialization in financial management. He is a certified professional in banking and finance. Dr. Das is currently leading, as you all know, the Africa, and is the Secretary General, and he's based in Bangkok. He has held several positions in public sector as well as commercial banks, and was a consultant expert advisor on rural and agricultural development to the Government of India. Dr. Das has served as a member of international project design teams for IFAD, FAO, World Bank, and has also led number of multi-country donor-funded short-term studies and projects. He has served as the panelist in several international events and was the organizing secretary of the 6th World Conference on Agriculture Finance. So now I would like, and I would like to request Dr. Das to present the project findings of the current project that is going on. So over to you, Dr. Das.
Thank you, Suchitra, for this long introduction. And I congratulate CAFI-SSF for organizing this webinar talk series, which was actually the recommendation from all of us during the starting of the year in 2020. And good morning, good afternoon, and the evening might be for Suchitra. It's good morning. No, it's good night.
It's almost
So I'm not saying good night. I'll say good night at the end. Yeah. So thank you for giving this opportunity to speak a little bit about our work here with the Bank for Agriculture and Agricultural Cooperatives with a small grant fund received from FAO MDF project. And I can see all our members are here. So they are well aware about this project, because time to time we also inform the executive committee of APRACA on the ongoing projects. So this is not very new to them, but definitely the results of and the observations made by us and the recommendation provided by the BASE for that will be definitely interesting for them. So can you start my presentation, or you want me to share the screen?
We can do the present. We can start your presentation.
Please.
Yes.
Thank you. So before I start, I have a presentation which will give you some, but I need to skip the project background, which Dr. Thomas has given a detail about the project background. So this project, can you go to the next slide, please? Yeah, the project background, expected output vis-a-vis achievements, baseline survey, main observation, recommendation, and next steps. To the next slide, please. Yes. So APRACA partnered with Banks for Agriculture and Agricultural Cooperatives, Southeast Asia Federation for Development and Economic Cooperation, SEFDEC, and Department of Fisheries, Royal Government of Thailand, to implement a small grant project to promote access to finance for the small scale fishes in Thailand with private sector participation. This is the additional part of it, where we have private sector participated in this process, like they are the value chain actors. The other objective of this project is to share the best practices, which we are doing now, digital platform, innovative technology solution, which was supported by SEFDEC, the loan appraisal tool tailored for the fishers, which BASE already developed, with the financial service provided to enable them in mitigating and managing the risk in finance. Next slide, please. Yes, so the expected output, there are 4 expected output. One is the formal collaboration of the stakeholder. As Dr. Thomas already said, we had the formal collaboration already done with the stakeholders meeting organized in June, and their support during the whole survey process. And the second was baseline survey. Yes, we completed the baseline survey. We did the baseline survey in a hybrid mode for the fishers organizations and the government departments. We did it online, but for the fisher folk, we had to do both physical as well as telephonic. The questionnaires were developed, and then we did a detailed analysis of the baseline survey, which is completed and reviewed by FAO also. Then awareness, training and awareness document. Yes, BASE has prepared a training tool set on credit program for the small scale fisheries. And then the training also delivered in 2 batches, the officers from the stakeholders. One batch was fully from BASE, and one batch is a mixed batch from BASE and also other departments, as well as some financial institutions. And the result sharing relations, now we are doing the sharing, but we have an activity which is on 20th December. So that will be for the stakeholders in Thailand. And we are also pitching the national level network for this during this 20 December stakeholders meeting. Go to the next slide, please. Thank you. Slide, please. Yeah. So coming to the baseline survey, as you can see from here, that we have three areas where we 135 fisher folks were randomly selected from 9 coastal provinces. You can see that coastal provinces, we have selected coastal provinces from the eastern part and also southern part, because they are having the most number of coastal provinces in Thailand. And then we had respondents from the fisher organization, government departments, line department, and also the establishments like in the universities, academic institutions. There were 20 participants, and the respondents from the financial service providers. We had the government banking institution. Then we also had the private cooperative banks also in the whole process. And we did the monthly survey for the financial institutions. So what we actually wanted to come out of this, we wanted to understand from the baseline when we organized the questionnaires. The questionnaires were different for these 3 different categories, and the questionnaire mainly wanted to know the current situation and what is their expectation and aspirations. Thank you. Go to the next, please. So the first observation from the small scale pieces is very small because I have to organize everything in one slide. But I just wanted to tell you some important bullet points here. The fisheries activity, which we found in Thailand, is a male-dominated activity, which might be different in other countries. But I mean, and half of the respondents, they say that their sources of income are coming, more than half is coming from the fisheries, but some of the other expenditure incomes are also there, which actually reflects in their expenditure pattern. So the expenditure is more than the income from the fisheries, so they must have other income also. So, and most of the respondents are members of fishers organization. That is very interesting, that they are not single or alone. They either they are the fishers organizations or associations or cooperative, or might be the community enterprises, because the community movement here is very strong in Thailand. Then the purpose of fishing is generally maintain their family business. So it is basically it's not a very big business approach for them, but to maintain their family business. And but some of them intend to pursue the career in fishing sector. But when they have no occupation and they don't want to be hired as a worker also. And the majority respondent revealed that they generally use their own household saving. This is very interesting for the financial institution, that they say that as a primary source. You can also see from this the loan availed and outstanding 0 to 100,000 is only 47 in number they have availed. So basically we see that they use their household savings at the primary source, which is the most important opportunity for the banking sector to or the financial sector to enter as an entry point. Thank you. Next slide, please. Yes. Coming to the fisher organization, that as I said, there are multiple number of fisher organizations. Like we have considered the government line department. There are cooperatives, fisher associations, capacity development. We call it the business development services also. At the same time, some of the private sectors are also there. for those who are the actors in the value chain. So the majority members of the respondent are the fisher owners are vessel owners. So what they say that the vessel owners, 47% of the respondent are either a vessel owner or a fish processor. So they are the major. So you can see the actors in the value chain are very active here. The primary producer here are 47%, but at the same time, the fish processors who are in the downstream of the value chain, they are also 47%. So by the fish farmers are 35. There are multiple, like some of them are fish farmers, some of them are also processors. That's why you cannot tally the numbers here. But there are fish traders as well. So we try to get the numbers, but it is difficult for us to identify whether some of them are only traders or some of them are both traders and also. But in the primary survey, it is already there. So we can see that there are some multiple activities at the fish farmer level are also going on. Either they are the processor or they are the fish traders. But very few of them are the crew members in the fishing sector. The organization majorly provide information sharing services. They are very important that because, as I said, the organizations are very important in terms of like the Department of Fisheries are there, then the regional fisheries, technical support institutions are there. So, and also the universities are there. So some of them support buying and selling of the fish, catch or the products, and they are either the processor or the fish traders. And also conduct capacity building. The institutions are already there to build the capacity of the members. And nearly half of the respondents indicated that their members have the access to credit facilities. Yes, so we can see that those who have the access to credit facilities, they also have the access to capacity building facilities. So those and 1/3 of their members could access the insurance facility, but that is only life insurance. So there is and none could get the insurance of their fishing activity. This is very important observations. And the level of awareness for credit insurance is extremely low. Like most of them don't know about, they don't know about whether there is a facility available for the insurance or the credit, and which calls them to emphasize on the capacity building and awareness generation, which has actually helped us to understand that there is a requirement, there is a need for building the capacity of the fisher organization or the business development service providers. Thank you. Next slide, please. Coming to the financial service providers, it is also very important to see that 22% of the financial service producers that don't provide digital services to the fisheries sector. So that is very important to understand that there are some of them are not equipped with this digital finance, but most of the respondents are national level institutions offering financial services to the fisher folk. But definitely we have to take the name of Bank for Agriculture and Agricultural Cooperative. They are the leader in financing the small scale fishers, followed by the government savings bank. They also support the Bank for Agriculture and Agricultural Cooperatives, BAC and DOF in extending loans to the small scale fishers. A quarter of the respondent of the FI, they have half of their clients as fisher clients. So these basically come from the fisher, the cooperatives of the cooperative financial institutions. But unfortunately, we do not have much data available for the community financial institution, which is also very important actor at a village level, or maybe at a fisher folk level in the coastal provinces. Then half of the respondents provide short-term loan. This is also very important to understand that mostly they have the short-term loan and saving services, while 1/3 of them provide the long-term loan, which is the asset creation. So this has to be, there must be some kind of trade-off between these long-term and short-term loans, because in case of long-term loans, the longer period of repayment, if there is no insurance available, and also the guarantee not available, it is difficult for the banks to go for long-term lending. Some of the FIs recommend need for capacity building, online training channel, both physical and webinar, creating public relation and evaluation for the performance report, providing knowledge of the value chain in the fishery sector, and learning collateral and risk management for fishery sector. How we can substitute the collateral will come to, I think, our BAC colleague will be providing you some idea that how they did the substitution of the collateral while lending to the fishery sector. Thank you. Next slide, please. This.
Dugyu, can you move to the next slide?
Yeah. Now coming to the recommendation, credit service to the small. Credit service to the small-scale fishers and its value chain actors need to be expanded by clubbing insurance products, assets, health, and life. Three kinds of insurance. Then promoting more fishers cooperative in the forms of joint liability groups for enhancing access to credit. Promoting digital financial services as a pathway to access and support new financing opportunities and tapping the new markets. That's very important. Because the dry fish has a big market in other countries, for example, in Cambodia or in Vietnam, or maybe in China also. Establish capacity building program both for the financial service providers and SSF at a two level to improve the efficiency of service providers and to adopt new and innovative technologies, which actually SafeDeck, our partner SafeDeck is also doing this. Then development of tailor-made financial products for different categories of small-scale fishes. So we have to categorize the small-scale fishes, which is very important to do the mapping and doing the categorization. And finally, dissemination of success stories through documentation and incorporation of the same in the training and capacity building. Thank you. Next slide, please. Yeah. Coming to the next steps, as Thomas already pointed out, that we are trying to develop the next step for establishment of Thailand national network for the SSF, which we call it the Thai-SSF, to support CAFI-SSF in achieving its regional aspirations. So CAFI-SSF being a global organization, and we are supporting as a regional organization. If we have the national level organization, we have the national network in Thailand, in the Philippines, and we are trying to establish that Thai-Net SSF here in Thailand. And update the training tool set and deliver a few more trainings to actors in the financial sector based on the feedback from the previous exercise. Then we have to carry out studies to increase the understanding of SSF financing along the value chain in Thailand. As we already said, that it is not only the recommendation that it is not only the small scale fishers, but their value chain also need to be studied, because there are two types of financing going on, which is one of them is the internal financing. Some of the boat owners, they finance the small scale fishers also. Document and disseminate the best practices. And finally, the publication and dissemination of the results of the project for the wider audience. Thank you. I think I'm done. Next slide, please. Yes. So thank you for your kind attention.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Prasun, for sharing such an in-depth survey analysis, and also a very interesting point in the end that you brought up is there is not just there's a lot of internal financing also which is going on, and so this clearly indicates that there is a tremendous scope for further institutional finance to be channelized to the small scale fisheries in general, where you're saying the boat owners are financing to the small scale fishers. So I think that's a very big point that is there. Of course, then other points which you have mentioned. So thank you once again for such a wonderful presentation. And I would like to also inform the participants that since there's already a request coming up that this presentation will be shared, so we're going to share it with everyone. So thank you once again, Dr. Prasun, for this. And now the session is open for any questions that for the next 5 minutes, if there are any questions from the participants on this.
Dr. Prasun, I got one question.
Yeah, please.
Yes.
Please go ahead.
With regard to small scale fisheries, you said they get the financing from boat owners also, right?
Yeah.
And you find among your surveys, one of the key things is that financial institutions themselves are not keen to finance small scale fisheries. It's one of the key things that also came out. And this boat owners financing, is it a serious competition for other financial institutions for financing fisheries?
Thank you. Actually, no, we have not done the analysis as such, but with some of the interviews, we found that there is actually no competition as such, because the boat owners, they got a finance from the bank because they can provide the collaterals. So the collateral based financing was done, and there is as such no competition. But now Bank for Agriculture and Agricultural Cooperative has come out with a collateral substitution program, which they will be presenting, might be in another 5 minutes. So that will help this to understand actually we are also planning for a study to understand the extent of the internal finance and the external finance in 2022 study, which will give us a little bit more idea that how we can but the entry points, we have already identified the entry points, and definitely the entry points are not only the SSF but the actors in the value chain. For example, even the restaurants. We have seen that some seafood restaurants, they are a big supporter to the small scale fishers. So we also have to try to understand whether they are also financing to the SSF or not.
I mean, one interesting thing we can explore is the cost of financing. Different actors, is the cost different? You see, in terms of the financing, that will be an interesting point to look at. Yeah, thank you.
That's great.
Dr. Prasun.
Yes,
Hello.
sir. Yes, sir.
It is not a question, but it's my observations into that.
Yeah,
because most of the webinars are the toolkits which are available for the small scale fisheries in marine sector is concerned. And this aquaculture is already a different footing, and which has a good prospects for the further financing, because their appraisal system, monitoring system, everything is different from this what marine fisheries is concerned. So we may have to prepare a good toolkit for the training, and other thing is concerned for aquaculture also, that may be required for that, which is a more prospective area for the development of fisheries. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, sir. Actually, you actually pointed out the most important part of it, that the majority finance actually goes to the aquaculture because the risk is little lesser than the marine fisheries. So the bankers are more interested in aquaculture financing. For example, shrimp financing in India, even in Thailand as well. So that's a big point for all of us. I think we will also be embarking next phase on this aquaculture. Thank you for raising these points.
So if there are no other questions, yeah, sorry, anybody?
Just one more point. If finances are more interested in aquaculture, it will actually may even defeat the point that actually the risk in marine fishery is higher, and small scale species in marine sectors are the one who are maybe in greater need of financing or for providing of such services, while aquaculture is more like food production, like normal agriculture, and so the risk involved in providing for marine fisheries is higher, and often less the agency want to do that. So trying to focus on that and see how these financial services can be provided and can be innovated so that they can account for those risks and provide those services for marine sector would be an important venture. Thank you.
Dr. Prasun, if I can come in here and
Please.
provide a comment on this question of aquaculture versus marine fishing. I think the main point why financial service providers, they like aquaculture is because it's less volatile, right? And one thing that came out very clearly, not only I think in the surveys in Asia, but also in the surveys in Africa, and in Africa maybe even more so, is the migratory nature of fishers of small-scale fishers along the coast. That's a big challenge for a financial service provider, right? Because a financial service provider, you want to know where your client is all the time, basically, and you want to know that if I want to meet my client tomorrow, I can, and that my client, if he has income tomorrow, he will also have income in 1 month, because I really don't like the volatility of the income so much, because that will jeopardize my loan repayment, basically. And this is why financial service providers, they like aquaculture. I don't think aquaculture necessarily is less risky. There's a lot of risk involved. We've also seen, like, problems in getting the right feed, for example. I mean, this is a big problem in Africa, where the market for like fingerlings and feed is definitely underdeveloped. And we've also seen quite a bit of aquaculture and mariculture projects fail in Africa. But so I don't think it's necessarily less risky per se, but it's this volatility and this migratory nature along the coast of the fishes that poses a real challenge to financial service providers. And that's, I think, something we need to think about. How can we alleviate that? Maybe with some more digital technology, you reach them via the phone or something like that. But yeah, this has come out, I think, very clearly of the surveys, and this is why financial service providers tend to lean towards aquaculture a bit more. Thank you.
Thank you, Thomas, for this additional information from African study. And also, Mr. Viswanathan, we actually know in agriculture, we follow the policy, we call it the more risk, you more finance. So if you finance more in a more risky proposition, the chances of mitigating the risk is more. So definitely it is, but as a financial institution, they have to also provide some kind of trade-off between these two. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So thank you. Thank you for the relevant points that have been brought up. So now we would like to, before we move on to the next two presentations in our session today, we would like to do an opinions poll with all the participants here. You can do it from either the computer, or you can also do it from your phones. We are using something called Mentimeter. So I would request that you can, when you go on, just go on this www.menti.com. You can do it through your computer or phone, and you can just type in this code. Once you do that, we will be asking you a few questions that is there. So for all of you all, just again, if you all would like to do join this opinion poll questions. So it's www.menti.com and just type in this code. The code is 44308257. Just give us a thumbs up, or just raise your hands in the chat so we know at least you all are ready. Okay, so let's move to the question. So how often during the week do you eat fish? Okay. 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 A few more people are still joining. So how often during the week do you eat fish? Okay. So based on the responses, we have 2 or more times in a week. That's 31%. Okay, it's still fluctuating, so I'll wait.
Yeah, maybe wait another minute,
Yeah.
Suchitra. I think
Yes.
people are still signing up.
Okay. Okay, so that's very interesting. About 47% are saying more than 2 times. At least 1 time is 37%, and rarely is 16%. Okay, so I think we have in our session today a lot of people from the Asian countries primarily, and most of the Asian countries are fish-loving, fish-eating countries, and that's where in Asia more than 89% of the small-scale fisheries population is also there. So, so it's still increasing. Okay, so more than 2 times is 50%. That's a good number. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Dugi, we would like to move to the next question for the mentee. Okay. So if kind request, if you can go again on your phones or on the computer and type in this code 89398080. I repeat, the code is 89398080.
I'm using the QR code.
Okay.
Yeah, easier.
That's easier.
Yeah.
I feel typing the code is more easier somehow. It's a matter of choice. So we will wait for 1 more minute for few more participants to type in the code. Okay, let's move to the question. Okay, which topic is important for your organization to strengthen capacity building of organizational staff for provision of financial services to small-scale fisheries? You can pick up any 3 topics. I will repeat the question. Which topic is important for your organization to strengthen capacity building of organizational staff for provision of financial services to small-scale fisheries? Okay, so we have 39 out of the 84 participants, 40 of them have responded so far. So can we have the results now, Dubyu? So we have from the 83 participants, 43 have responded. And as you can see, for the cash flow analysis of small-scale fishers and small-scale producers, it's 23%, which is the top of the chart. The design, adapt, credit, microfinance, and insurance, about 20%. Financial literacy trainings and tools materials is 19%. Third-party liability insurance, the opinion says 7%, while fish value chain assessment is 11%. Risk management, mitigation, and fisheries aquaculture services for SSF certainly is 19%. So somewhere I think the survey as well as the priorities are matching in a way. So let's move on to the next question. Okay. So what type of support would you prioritize from the CAFI-SSF network in your region? I will repeat the question. What type of support would you want to prioritize from the CAFI-SSF network in your region? Okay, so we have 37 respondents. And as you can see, it's about the top priorities for the training and assistance on how to design financial services for SSF, awareness and advocacy, especially with governments, okay, and training on SSF value chains and markets are more or less on a equal this, and facilitate exchange among stakeholders. Okay, so thank you. Thank you very much for giving your opinions. And with this, we would like to move to the next interesting presentation for the webinar today. The presentation is on financing to SSF, the bank from the Bank for Agriculture and Agriculture Cooperatives to scale up and reach out. So it is being the presentation is going to be done by Mr. Suthee Visitwarakorn. He works as the Assistant Senior Vice President in the Risk Management Department of the BAC. Mr. Suthee has over 20 years of experience with the BAC And he is based on his field experience in BAC branches amongst different provinces in Thailand. Mr. Suthee has been involved in developing an operational framework assessment reports to include description of the risk management from climate-induced natural disasters in agricultural lending situation, particularly the strategies and tools used for the poor rural people in Thailand. So, Mr. Suthee, it's over to you.
Thank you, Suchitra, and good afternoon, everyone from all around the globe. On behalf of BAC, I would like to thank you for inviting BAC to present today on the topic of financial product development for small-scale fisher. So I will spend about 15 minutes for presenting. Can you show my slide, my presentation?
Sure.
Yes, can you go to the agenda, please? Okay, for the topic that I will present today is divided into 4 parts. The first part, I will show the information to get to know about the BAC, and the second section present an overview of BAC credit portfolio, and the third section I will present the BAC service for small-scale fisher, and the last I will conclude everything that has been presented, including the further work. Next slide, please. Starting from the first part, BAC is a specialized financial institution that approximately 99% owned by the Ministry of Finance, Thailand, and 1% owned by farmer institution and general public. Our vision is to be a secure rural development bank with modern management, providing integrated financial service to sustainably enhance the quality of life of farmers. For key financial performance at the end of the last year, the total asset is 2,225 billion baht. Sorry for presenting in terms of Thai baht. If you would like to know in terms of US dollar, just divided by 33. You can get the term of US dollar. Our loan portfolio is 1,500 million baht, and the last year net profit is 7.97 billion baht. Other important information such as BAC is the second largest specialized financial institution by asset size and ranked number 6 for the all bank comparison to all bank in Thailand. And this is the short brief of BAC. Next slide, please. This slide presents an overview of the portfolio with focus on aquaculture and fishery portfolio compared to BAC total credit portfolio. It found that the aquaculture and fishery loan portfolio was around 31 billion baht, representing only 2% compared to BAC total loan portfolio. The reason why the credit portfolio for aquaculture and fishery is small because of the diversity of BAC loan that most of the credit portfolio are concentrated in key crops such as rice, sugarcane, corn, cassava, and livestock. While there are few areas in Thailand that are suitable for fishing, that's only 22% out of the total 77 provinces are seafront. On the other hand, 31 billion baht loan portfolio for fishery sector is also considered a large credit portfolio. In detail, the portfolio we are interested in is the marine fishery portfolio that's in the bottom pie chart, which is approximately 2.8 billion baht. That around 9% of the total aquaculture and fishery loan portfolio. As we compare with the total value of Thai marine fishery product in 2020, is worth 67.2 billion baht, and found that BAC marine fishery portfolio accounted for 4% of the value of marine fishery product. And it shows an opportunity for BAC to grow the marine fishery portfolio in the future. Next slide, please. This slide shows the credit service for small-scale fisher provided by BAC. BAC offers a wide range of financial product. Product development is to meet the needs of the customer. General customer demand for financial institution is they often want access to funding at a low cost through convenient channel. BAC has a network of branches in every district across the country, which increase the convenience of access to financial service. For the development of financial product for small-scale fisher is to support liquidity and to facilitate fishery entrepreneurs to legally run fishery and help conserve aquatic animal and marine natural resources, as well as to promote sustainable fishery. The target group include individual fishery entrepreneur and juristic fishery entrepreneur. The fishing area is cover 22 provinces around the Gulf of Thailand and the Andaman Sea. And the loan product that are serviced are divided into three types, classified according to the need of money: short-term loan, less than 1 year, and medium-term loan for equipment or asset buying, and long-term loan intend to invest in the asset, such as investment in purchase or improvement of the fishing boat. Next slide, please. BAC generally limit the maximum credit limit for small-scale fisher to 5 million baht per household. Client lending charge, the reference interest rate is MRR. The current reference rate of MRR or minimum retail rate is 6.5%, which will be charged to client based on customer tier, which vary according to the risk level of each customer. The interest rate charged to customer is between 6.5 to 9.5% per year. except for government-sponsored loan project. Some project which support the small-scale fisher project, which will set interest rate for specific project. For example, special loan that support illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing or IUU loan project of the government. The interest rate charge is 7% per year for individual fisheries. Entrepreneur and juristic fishery entrepreneur shall be the interest rate shall be paid by the government 3% and 4% paid by the borrower. In case of the default, the bank shall charge the additional 3% of overdue from principal, or equal to MRR plus risk premium 3% and penalty charge 3% until the overdue principal are paid. Next slide, please. This slide shows a sample of marine fishery loan product for small-scale fisher. That the background from 2015 that EU gave the Thailand a yellow card in case of Thailand hasn't solved the problem of concretely in illegal fishing or IUU. For this warning, Thailand has a great reform. So BAC want to promote legal fishing and provide credit for small-scale fisher that comply the government regulation. The product name is loan project to enhance liquidity and traditional fishermen and commercial fishery. The target is to support the increase in liquidity of individual fishery and juristic fishery entrepreneur. The total loan is 5.3 billion for working capital or investment in fishery. Sort of fund are from BAC. That's the main sort of fund of the BAC are from the deposit. Sorry for the wrong presentation. It's not a product name. It shows the period of the project between 2020 to 2028, and the maximum loan amount per household is 5 million baht. That the interest rate, the government shall pay 3%, and the borrower shall pay 4%. Yeah, it's an example of the product for small-scale fisher. Next slide, please. For credit analysis, it is not different from the general credit analysis. BAC also adhere to the 5C principle in credit analysis. However, the result obtained from the credit analysis is must demonstrate two main points: the borrower willingness to pay and ability to pay. BAC analyzed individual fisheries based on permission to do any fishing experience, tools, and equipment necessary for occupation, such as fishing boat, as well as various financial records. For the analysis of debt repayment ability, consider the nature of loan used. For example, working capital, we consider the amount of loan that cover the total expense, and as for investment loan, we consider the cash flow and other financial ratios such as NPV, IRR, BC ratio, and payback period. Next slide, please. For loan security requirement, BAC define utilization of collateral into 3 types, as shown in the presentation. First, the fishermen can provide the joint liability group, which is required for small-scale fisher that do not have sufficient asset to secure the loan. General principle for joint liability group: client in the same group obligate themselves in joint liability agreement for their loan repayment. The maximum loan for this type of collateral is 300,000 baht per household, and the mortgage land and land with building that the customer can use collateral for land mortgage that can lend up to 90% of the collateral value. In addition, the small-scale fisher can use the fishing boat mortgage as collateral. This is a product-specific collateral developed exclusively for small-scale fisher loan product that I will show in the next slide. Next slide, please. General principle for using a mortgage fishing boat as collateral for a loan using the customer can use fishing boats as collateral for no more than 50% of the mortgage amount, and fishing boat must have a remaining life of at least 5 years, and insurance must be provided for fishing boats used as collateral. The insurance value of the fishing boats must be reviewed. I mean, we have to evaluate the value and review every 3 years. And the valuation of fishing boats is based on the average price of fishing boats as specified by the Department of Fisheries. And the owner of the fishing boat and the borrower must be the same person. Next slide, please. In the development of credit products for small-scale fisher, the risk management that is important. The risk that customer may default on their debt has to be taken into account. So BAC cooperate with the Tipaya Insurance Public Company Limited made insurance for fishery. Insurance coverage fishing boat which the boat registered with Marine Department and has a license from Department of Fisheries. And the insurance coverage also cover both driver and fishing crew of the insurer. Generally, insurance coverage will last for 1 year. Insurance premium are shown in the table. Such insurance cooperation is meant to reduce and transfer credit risk to the insurer. The last slide, please. Next slide. In conclusion, from that I have presented, BAC has an opportunity to grow loan for small-scale fisher in the future when compared to the value of locally produced marine fishery products. However, an in-depth analysis of the potential fishery producer data is required, including information on the use of small-scale fisher financial service. In addition, the interest rate factor is one of the most important factors that customer consider using credit service. This is an opportunity for BAC with government support. And what I have missed from the presentation is using mortgage bonds as collateral. This increase the demand of credit and increase the credit performance for small-scale fisher. Finally, a focus on credit product development is risk management. Product developer can set different strategy for reducing or transferring risk. PAC also formulate strategy that are embedded in the product development, such as setting different interest rate according to each customer risk profile and the preparation of fishing boat insurance. That's all from my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Suthee, for giving such a wonderful presentation and discussing the product in detail. In case if there are any questions, we will take it a little later. I would like to move on to the next presentation right now. And then after that, we can take any questions for both the presentations. So our next speaker is Ms. Emmalyn Guinto, who is the Chief Communication and Public Affairs Division and Officer in Charge Administrative Division at the ACPC. Just to give a brief introduction about her, she has an extensive work experience in communication, training and extension, social development programs and projects. She has also conducted strategic and corporate planning, policy research and analysis, including stakeholders analysis, evaluation, program and project formulations, monitoring and evaluation, appraisals, including need assessments and constraint analysis. She has experience on policy advocacy and information dissemination, preparation of project feasibility studies. Ms. Emmalyn has organized, managed, and conducted institution building programs focused on professionalizing cooperatives, including cooperative rural banks and other agri-based financial institutions, as well as strengthening the capacity of bank officers and staff in managing their banks. So we would move on to a presentation titled Financing Small-Scale Fisheries in the Philippines. Since Ms. Emmalyn is traveling, so she has requested, although she has joined us, but we would like to show her pre-recorded presentation.
Good morning and mabuhay. In behalf of our Executive Director, Jocelyn Alma Arbadiola, thank you to the Global Network for Capacity Building to increase access of small-scale fisheries to financial services, or CAFI-SSF network, the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, or FAO, and the Asia and Pacific Rural and Agricultural Credit Association, or APRACA, for inviting the Agricultural Credit Policy Council to be part of this webinar. I am Emmalyn J. Guinto, and I will be sharing with you the ACPC's initiatives to enhance financial service provision for small-scale fishers. Before that, let me first give you a brief background about ACPC. The ACPC is an attached agency of the country's Department of Agriculture. It was created in 1986. Essentially, the mandate of the ACPC is to develop and advocate credit policies and programs that promote farmers and fishers' access to sustained financial services. Among the major functions of ACPC are conducting policy research, regular monitoring and evaluation, capacity building programs, overseeing the government loan funds, developing innovative financing schemes, among others. Now, for the implementation of our credit programs, let me explain that we do not do direct lending. What we do is we partner with government banks and non-government financial institutions that extend loans to our target borrowers. We call them our partner lending conduits, or PLCs. Speaking about our credit programs, may I share with you 4 that we are currently implementing. The first one is the Survival and Recovery or Sure Assistance Program, which is for calamity-affected small farmers and fishers. Did you know that the Philippines is hit by an average of 20 typhoons per year, as we are located along the typhoon belt of the Pacific, and that we are also in the Pacific Ring of Fire, making it vulnerable to frequent earthquakes and volcanic eruption? This caused widespread devastation to crops, homes, livelihoods, and cost hundreds, if not thousands of lives. The SURE aims to somehow help farmers and fishers in areas under state of calamity. Through the program, they can avail themselves of up to 25,000 pesos or around 496 US dollars. No interest, no collateral, and payable up to 3 years. In addition, we also offer a 1-year moratorium on payments of borrowers from our existing programs. The next program is the SURE COVID-19, which was developed in 2020 during the height of the nationwide lockdowns due to COVID-19. Micro and small agri-fishery enterprises whose operations were affected by the mobility restrictions due to various levels of quarantine may borrow up to 10 million pesos or around 198,418 US dollars, while small farmers and fishers, whom we consider our frontliners in our battle against COVID-19, can borrow up to 25,000 pesos or around 496 US dollars. These loans have no interest and no collateral requirement and payable up to 5 years for micro and small enterprises and 10 years for small farmers and fishers. The next credit program is the Capital Access for Young Entrepreneurs, or CAIA for short. This is especially created for 18 to 30 years old Filipinos. This stems from the fact that the average age of Filipino farmers is 53 years old, while Filipino fishermen is at 41 years old. We would like to encourage them to be part of our food security initiatives, especially amid the pandemic. Under the CAIA program, they may borrow up to 300,000 or around 5,952 US dollars to finance startup or existing projects. Again, this has no interest, no collateral, and payable up to 5 years. Last but not the least is the Agri-Negotiator or Anyo loan program. This program has no age limit and is open for farmers, fishers, enterprises, cooperatives, associations, and even repatriated overseas Filipino workers. In this program, the maximum loanable amount is 15 million pesos or around 297,672 US dollars. And as with all other ACPC programs, this also has no interest, no collateral. Further, this is payable up to 5 years. As of October 31, 2021, we are delighted to report that we have released loans amounting to 5.5 billion pesos, benefiting some 152,717 small farmers and fisherfolk and 385 micro and small enterprises. With regard to loan releases for fisheries production, as of October 31, 2021, we have disbursed some 680.8 million pesos or about 13.5 million US dollars to 24,482 fisherfolk. All of our programs have built-in capacity building support, such as business plan workshop, business model canvas, and financial literacy. These trainings are in-house and are conducted virtually by ACPC. Furthermore, we also engage state colleges and universities, government and private agencies to train and mentor the loan applicants and beneficiaries. Due to mobility restrictions in the new normal, we launched the ACPC Access, an upgraded version of our online application for all our credit programs. Through the ACPC Access, the loan applicants can monitor the status of their application online. It has an online appointment feature, which allows the applicants to select preferred schedule for the online program briefing and business planning workshop. Through the said innovation, the applicants will also know which partner lending conduits he or she will be endorsed to once complete documentary requirements were submitted. Let me also share with you ACPC's collaboration with APRACA and FAO for a project to set up the groundwork for the establishment of a credit and insurance program for small-scale fishers in the Philippines. Basically, the said project aims to build and strengthen the capacity of stakeholders in the small-scale fisheries sector, guide policy and decision makers in the financial insurance industry with the ultimate objective of encouraging investment in the fisheries sector, thus strengthen the sustainability and economic viability of the SSF and promote financial and insurance services that advocate responsible and sustainable fishing, processing and marketing operations, including preparedness for natural disasters and climate change-related challenges. Aside from the many activities already conducted for the project, here are the main outputs of the collaboration. Stakeholders analysis. Through this, we were able to identify relevant stakeholders related to SSF, and we were also able to get the commitment of initially 16 organizations that will be part of establishing an operative, effective, and efficient credit and insurance program for the small-scale fishers. Baseline survey. We also conducted a baseline survey as one of the preparatory activities for the establishment of a credit and insurance program for the small-scale fisheries in the Philippines. Among the survey respondents are individual small-scale fishers, fishers organizations, financial service providers, and insurance service providers. The results allowed our stakeholders to better understand and the current status of the small-scale fishing communities and the assistance and support they need for their fishing activities. Also, the current capacities of stakeholders in providing support to small-scale fishers in accessing financing and insurance services, as well as the current issues and challenges in the provision of support to small-scale fishers in accessing financing, insurance, and capacity-building interventions were identified through the said baseline survey. Training of trainers. Just last month, we also rolled out a training program for trainers consisting of 2 modules. The first module focused on stakeholder platform and business development service for SSF, and the second one discussed on how small-scale fishers can access financial services. Establishment of a PhilNet SSF. Finally, we were able to establish and launch the Philippine National Network or PhilNet SSF for the establishment of a credit and insurance program for small-scale fisheries. The network's goal is to ultimately develop and pilot test a credit and insurance program for the SSF. In addition, they will also develop and deliver capacity building materials and modules and develop and implement dissemination and advocacy campaign for the small-scale fishers. So let me take this opportunity to thank the APRACA and FAO, especially Dr. Prasun and Dr. Raymond Van Androy for partnering with us in championing the welfare of the small-scale fishers in the Philippines. That's the end of my presentation. If you want to learn more about ACPC and its programs, you may visit our website, acpc.gov.ph, and we are also on Facebook. It is my honor to be part of this significant and timely activity. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Emmalyn, for sharing the video. But I hope you are able to at least join us with the audio since the connectivity is not so great at your end. So in case if there are any questions, I hope you'll be able to take them. So the session is open for questions for the next 2 minutes in case if there are any questions.
Yeah, good afternoon. I've got one question for Mr. Suthee regarding the financial provisions for small-scale fisheries. This problem with the IUU fisheries, how do you actually differentiate and ensure that you're not funding IUU fisheries or encouraging IUU fisheries? It's a very difficult issue, especially with small-scale fisheries. And as you said, you are still providing loans for IUU fisheries. So this is quite a difficult situation. So how do you manage that?
Mr. Suthee?
Yes, thank you, sir. In terms of IUU project, we classify into 2 groups. First group is for individual small-scale fisher, and the second group, the second part is for entrepreneur, for juristic person that we manage differently. And the for juristic person, they have to provide collateral, for example, land and mortgage, fishing boat. For small scale fisher, they don't have the asset that enough to secure the loan, so they can join as a group. We manage differently from these 2 groups. This is answering your question.
No, but it'll be quite a challenge for you to, determine or ensure that they're not IUU fishers. It'll be quite difficult, even though you're giving them a loan. You can't guarantee that they will not undertake IUU fishing, isn't it? It's going to be a difficult thing there. This is a problem. It's not something that's easily solvable. It is there. As you said, that even the European Union is coming hard on Thailand and giving them a yellow card. So you better take some actions to stop that. Yeah. So it's a difficult thing. So
we just support the government policy that we cooperate with the Department of Fisheries to providing a loan for to solve the problem that fishermen cannot get the liquidity and fund to invest in their occupation, in their activity. So the government know that we the government bank, the government bank can support the fishermen because if they we would like to reduce their activity illegally from fishery activity. But the target group of the project, there are only 2 groups. Actually there are two banks that go into this project, include the government saving bank and the retail. They can borrow from the retail loan. They can borrow from the BAC, and the large amount of loan or the jurist person that they need the large amount of loan. They can borrow from the government saving bank.
Yep. Yeah. This is one of the extension is I found from your figures that a very small percentage of loans actually going for marine fisheries. From your figures, very small percentage is going for actually marine fisheries. So I wonder, where do these marine fisheries people get their loans from? They must have got some other sources of loans that they're able to get access to. Informal sectors. There must be a very strong informal sector that's providing loans for these marine fisheries, right?
Yeah, also from the baseline survey, the fishermen can access the financial service through from different institutions. For example, apart from bank, they can borrow from fishery cooperatives, village fund, something like that. They can easily to access the financial service in Thailand.
So there are quite large sources of finances that are not coming from banks per se, from other institutions, and therefore formulating these kinds of financial services would involve really understanding these sectors and cooperating those sectors, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But we don't have the information to compare with the BAC loan portfolio. I don't have information in that. Just compare only our portfolio.
Yeah. Thank you.
Mr. Suthee, hello.
Hello.
Mr. Suthee, it's a very nice presentation, very detailed, and I just wanted to know because there are 3 different sectors like agriculture, livestock, and fisheries. Of course, in fisheries you have a less stake in a credit, but how is the recovery, comparative recovery from this field? Loan recovery, I'm talking. Rough estimation. I mean, comparative, whether the fisheries is better than the others.
I'm not sure. We cannot compare. Do you mean it just compare between legally activity and illegally activity?
No, not legally. You are extending the loan to the 3 different sectors. One is agriculture, another is livestock, third is fisheries, fourth maybe industries and small scale like that. Now, if you compare that loans, the recovery which you are getting back money, in which sector it is better, at least in fisheries sector, how it is comparable?
I see. Just compare we can compare with the quality of the loan, but I haven't compared. But for fishery sector, the NPL is I have checked. The NPL is around 2 to 3%. But for agricultural sector, around 3 to 4% right now. For livestock, I'm not sure. I haven't checked. I just compared. I know.
Okay. It's interesting to know. I mean, you can have an analysis of it later.
Most of credit portfolio of the BAC are from the agricultural sector.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
I think Dr. Prasun, do you want to? I saw Dr. Prasun. Did you raise your hand?
Yeah, can you hear me now? Yeah.
Yes.
So as I already, you can see from the presentation, if you remember the presentation, we already said that there are 2-3 things which are very, very important, and you can call it as a drivers and accelerators. One of the accelerators is definitely the value chain. As Suthee pointed out, that they have very less amount of share, and I assure you that the other banks do not have at all any share on this. So the main agricultural lending or the fishery lending is done by either BAC or GSB. So the entry point for BAC is very high opportunity is there already. I mentioned, and there are a lot of money flowing from the value chain actors to the upstream. As I said, so might be somebody is having a 10 or 20 boats, so they are putting money on them. So that is one of the major financing going on these marine fisheries. There is one, because they can absorb the risk by having more numbers. So they play on numbers, and the risk can be dispersed. Number one. Number two, to go to the Maruti sir's question, that also I said in the report that the majority of the small scale fishers are either they are not alone, they are in a group. So the group recovery is always better than the individual recovery. So that is one of the reasons that the fishery recovery is comparable to agriculture, and in some places it is better than agriculture. Thank you.
So if there are no other questions. Yeah.
No, I can see Papia, ma'am.
Oh.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'm Papia from Bangladesh. Actually, I have a question regarding insurance concept. Like fisheries, do you suggest while you are doing the actuarial or other work, life as well as asset, both you are covering in this fisheries project? Do you think it will be very good to combine in a comprehensive product?
Mr.
Suthee.
Yeah, do you mean you can combine the insurance with the loan product?
Bundling.
Yes,
correct.
yes.
Actually, she is asking that whether you want to bundle asset and life insurance together.
Yeah. Actually, we bundle both life insurance and both insurance together in the package, loan package.
And the service being given by only by one company, or you go to the multiple company for getting that service?
For insurance?
Yes.
Do you mean the insurance company?
Yeah. Are you getting this bundled insurance from one company, like as you said, or it is different company?
One insurance for one company.
One company, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also for individual loan.
Okay.
Because we have no this type of insurance, so if in future we can get any sharing experience, then it will great help for us.
Yeah, we have to cooperate with the insurance company, because we don't develop our insurance product by ourselves. So we have to cooperate with the insurance company and insurance sector.
Whether this insurance premium is a part of loan amount, the insurance, the premium which the individual is paying, that is a part of loan amount.
Yes, it departs from loan amount.
But who is paying this amount? From fisheries or the loanee?
Do you mean the premium?
Yes, premium.
Yes.
Actually, the fishery have to pay by themselves.
Okay.
The government just support only the interest rate
Okay. Okay.
for
Thank
this
you.
project.
So it is a part of the credit whole credit package, and they have to repay, but the government support 3% and the borrower pay only 4%.
Yes, correct.
I think it is good when government is subsidized at the initial stage, like pilot or other initiative, to maybe private insurance company or government insurance corporation. It will explore this fisheries insurance in our market also.
Can I share? Actually, we also have another insurance project, like a crop insurance that the project that support from the government, and the premium are also supported by the government.
Okay. Okay. So if there are no further questions,
I
we
can
would
see one
like
question. I can see one question from Aftab from HBL. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Sir, I have
Yes, Mr. Aftab.
I have a thought that why BAC has developed only 2% on fisheries and aquaculture, as they have a more potential. If presenter, speaker from BAC share with us challenges in aquaculture and fisheries portfolio, development of fisheries and aquaculture portfolio. Thank you.
So after you wanted to know the challenges of aquaculture in Thailand, or
Yes,
by the BAC as a bank. See,
yes,
fishery as a different challenge. Financing has a different challenge. And I feel that you are from the HBL, so it's a bank. So you wanted to know, you wanted to know from the finance angle. Yes.
Yes, financing challenges in the fisheries. As I saw, there is a more potential, and the total bank portfolio is 2% in the fisheries and aquaculture, as I have noticed in the previous.
Oh, yeah. Suthee.
I think the challenge of our bank today is from fishery sector is I'm not sure, but I think the most important is today in Thailand economic. There are a lot of debt. We have a problem with household debt, because the farmer and fishery can access easily to access to financial service. So and then make maybe in the future it can have a crisis of a household debt. This is a challenge of our bank. And in terms of financial accessibility, I think no problem. Okay, thank you.
Actually, to be honest, the access to finance is not a problem or not a challenge to the fishery sector. As I said in our presentation also, it has come out very clearly. The only thing is that, as Suthee was telling, that the debt ratio, as you have seen, the expenditure is higher than the income. So where from they are getting that expenditure? I mean, where from they are getting that much of money to expend more than the income. So might be two ways. One is that they have another way of income. In most of the cases, it is not, and during this COVID, it has already been lost. So that is not there. So the other way is to get the debt. So the household debt, as Suthee was telling, household debt becoming more and more, which has become a real challenge to the bankers also to understand whether the creditworthiness of that particular borrower or that entrepreneur is well enough to repay the money. So that might be one of the reasons, and it has been amplified due to the COVID.
Thank you very much, Dr. Shah, for more clarity. Now clear. Thank you.
Okay. So if there are no further questions, we would like to request all the participants to switch on their cameras, because we want to take the norm that we have is we want to take a group photo. We've announced this a little late because in the previous one, because of the interesting discussions that were happening. So if everyone can just switch on their videos so we can take the pictures, please.
Anupam, switch on your video. You are in the middle.
Do you let us know once you have got adequate pictures?
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. So with this, I would like to request Dr. Prasun to go ahead with the closing remarks for today's session.
Oh, thank you very much for this interesting session. And as I said previously, that I would like to, it's a real appreciation for the CAFI-SSF Global Network to support this kind of webinar and the talk series especially, and with a special interest on a particular country. So, we would like to say thank all the participants, and some of our member institutions are also present. I can see our CEO from Chimek Bank also is here. So in summary, we actually learned a lot today. Even our present observations in the baseline survey today, Suthee's presentation also given me a little bit more idea. Like I was thinking about only one product, now I can see that there are two products. So similarly, if we can have this kind of country specific or country targeted webinar talk, we will be extremely happy. And we can request our members to volunteer on this, to send their intention to Suchitra for hosting this kind of a thing. I think CAFI-SSF can host all these things, but the intent should come from our members and member countries, so that we can have more and more learning, so that we can compile it and post it in CAFI-SSF website for more and greater awareness and audience also. So I thank my colleagues from FAO and also our senior colleagues, those who have joined today. I can see some of our friends from Kenya also joined. Thomas, thank you for your smiling face. So, so thanks to all of you for Papia ma'am. I'm sorry I forgot you. You are with us since 2019. So thank you very much for being with us. And Mr. Viswanathan, also thank you for asking some tough questions. So we will continue to do that, and we will be happy to answer and support all these kind of questions. I thank all of you, and it is becoming too a late night for Suchitra. So good night to Suchitra, and good afternoon to all of you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. Yeah. Bye.
Thank you.
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 Thank you.